morning, students of class 5. Students, I'm sure all of you are well and in a good mood, ready for your English class. Students, today I'm going to continue with Unit 11 of your English grammar, simple present tense. So all of you, please take out your English grammar books and turn to page number 47. Please take out your English grammar books and turn to page number 47, Unit 11, Simple Present Tense. Now students, you know that simple present tense is used to talk about things in general that happen all the time, usually, regularly, generally, often, seldom, always, never, etc. It is also used to express permanent truths, scientific facts, and many proverbs. For expressing all these, children, we use simple present tense. And students, simple present tense, in a sentence, we only use the root form or we add s or es to the root form. But that has a rule. And what is that subject-verb agreement, children? That with singular nouns and pronouns, जो subjects हैं, with subjects which are nouns and pronouns, singular nouns and pronouns. Remember, like Ravi, child, he, she, it, we add s or es to the root form of the verb. Whereas children, with plural subjects, that is with plural nouns and pronouns like boys, children, I, we, you, they, we use the root form of the verb. Now I'll explain that to you. Verb, that is the first form, which we also call the root form. The root form. बेटा जो root form of verb है वो, and the other is verb plus E oblique S oblique ES. That's the root form. Now, students, with the plurals, with all the plurals, ये हम plurals के साथ use करेंगे. Fine? और ये we are going to use with singular. Found? Now, plurals में like parents. Fine? I'll explain with examples also. Singular like mother. Then plural, one more plural, children. Then cows, then Ravi and Mohan, then they, then you, then we, then I. Fine? And here he, she, it, only Ravi, that means it can be any name, only cow, child. Students, you need to keep this in mind that the subject verb agreement. If the subject is plural, that is the noun or the pronoun is plural, हम बेटा फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ जो रूट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब है वो एज इट इज यूज करेंगे, उसमें एस या ईएस नहीं ऐड करेंगे. आई एक्सप्लेन विथ एग्जांपल्स. फर्स्ट आप इसको समझो. लाइक एग्जांपल, पेरेंट्स प्लूरल है, फाइन. तो पेरेंट्स और एनी प्लूरल, तो उनके संग आप रूट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब यूज करोगे विदाउट एडिंग एस और ईएस टू इट. फाइन. काउस प्लूरल है, चिल्ड्रन प्लूरल है. हाँ, रवि एंड मोहन, दैट मीन्स एनी मोर देन वन पर्सन. जब आप कहीं भी उनके संग वर्ब ऐड करोगे तो आप कौन सा वर्ब यूज करोगे? द रूट फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब विदाउट एडिंग एस और ईएस. लाइक दे, देयर इज आल्सो प्लूरल प्रोनाउन, बट रिमेंबर यू एंड आई के साथ भी हम रूट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब यूज करेंगे विदाउट एडिंग एस और ईएस. Whereas the singular, जितने भी आपके सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट होंगे, नाउन्स एंड प्रोनाउंस जो सिंगुलर हैं, उनके संग आप वर्ब में एस और ईएस ऐड करेंगे. दैट डिपेंड्स कि किस वर्ब में एस ऐड होता है, किस वर्ब में ईएस ऐड होता है. फाइन. लाइक आई टेल यू सम एग्जांपल. ये फॉर एग्जांपल द वर्ड फ्लाई, ये रूट फॉर्म है. अब इसमें कब आप ईएस ऐड करोगे? अगर फ्लाइज करोगे तो आप उसमें क्या ऐड कर दोगे? ईएस. बट अगर आप स्पीक है, स्पीक का आप स्पीक्स में खाली एस ऐड करोगे. तो आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू यू कि कहां आपको एस ऐड करना है, कहां आपको ईएस ऐड करना है. फॉर दैट द वर्ब शुड बी क्लियर टू यू, एंड फॉर दैट यू नीड टू गो बैक टू यूनिट 10. वहां पे आपके वर्ब के सारे फॉर्म्स आर गिवन. यू नीड टू लर्न द root forms. Fine. So with all the singular subjects, that is the nouns and pronouns, we'll be using the verb with s or es plus he, she, it. ये सब singular pronouns है. इनके साथ भी आप verb में क्या बेटा यूज करोगे? s या es ऐड करके यूज करोगे. Any name, एनी नेम, सिंगल पर्सन, आप उसमें वर्ब के साथ क्या यूज करोगे बेटा? एस या ईएस. एनी एनिमल, सिंगल अगर है, सिंगुलर है. हाँ, चाइल्ड, तो इन सब में आप क्या यूज करोगे बेटा? वर्ब का वो फॉर्म जिसमें एस या ईएस आप ऐड करोगे. सो यू नीड टू कीप दिस इन माइंड कि विद सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट्स हमको वर्ब के रूट फॉर्म में एस ऑब्लिक ईएस ऐड करना है. वेयर एज जो प्लूरल सब्जेक्ट्स है, सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट्स में वर्ब का जो आप यूज करोगे उसमें एस या ईएस लगा के यूज करोगे फॉर सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस. एंड वेयर एज जो प्लूरल्स है उसमें आप वर्ब का बस रूट फॉर्म ऐड करोगे. प्लस आपको याद रखना है कि प्लूरल नाउन्स एंड प्रोनाउंस के अलावा विद आई एंड यू विल ऑलवेज यूज द रूट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब. आई और यू बेटा हमेशा रूट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब यूज करते हैं. दे डू नॉट add s or es. Now I'll explain this with examples. Now children, suppose my friend dash tennis. Fine. और हमको इसमें प्ले ऐड करना है ना बेटा. अब फ्रेंड क्या है? माय फ्रेंड, सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट, सिंगुलर है तो रूल के हिसाब से हमको वर्ब का ये रूट फॉर्म है. इसमें अगर सब्जेक्ट सिंगुलर है तो हमें वर्ब में एस ऐड करना है. दिस इज द एग्रीमेंट, सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एग्रीमेंट. इफ योर सब्जेक्ट इज सिंगुलर, अगर आपका सब्जेक्ट सिंगुलर है तो आपके वर्ब को आप यू नीड टू ऐड एस टू द रूट फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब. फाइन. बट लेट्स टेक अनदर एग्जांपल. माय फ्रेंड्स डैश टेनिस. नाउ अगेन we need to fill the same verb, but look at the subject. यहाँ पे आपका subject क्या है? Here the subject is plural, whereas in the first sentence the subject was singular. You were talking about my friend, that is one friend of yours, fine. But over here you are talking about the subject which is plural, my friends. So you need to simply add the root form of the verb without adding s or es. I hope now this is clear to you. If your subject is singular, आपके जो verb का root form है उसमें s और es depending upon the spelling आप add करके verb लगाओगे. Whereas in simple present tense, if your subject is plural, you need not add any s or es. Simply you need to use the root form of the verb. बस ये याद में रखना आपको कि अगर मेरा सब्जेक्ट सिंगुलर है तो मुझे वर्ब में s और es ऐड करना है. बट अगर माय सब्जेक्ट इज प्लूरल तो आई नीड नॉट add any s es. I simply need to use the root form of the verb. But with I and you, we will be using the root form of the verb as explained earlier. Now, you dash your hair nicely. And if the verb is comb, so with you, which form of verb we have to use? We need to use the root form of the verb without adding any s or es. Why? Because you. Fine. Now, fourth, I dash my teachers. I dash my teachers. And if the word is respect, I के साथ, as explained earlier, that we need to use the root form of the verb without adding s or es. ये बेटा आपको दिमाग में रखना है. If your subject is singular, अगर आपका subject singular है, so you need to add s or es to the root form of the verb. Whereas if your subject is plural, you need not add s or es. Simply आपको root form of verb as it is लिख देना है for simple present tense. But with you and I, we use the root form of the verb without adding s or es. So students, I hope that this rule is clear to you. If you want, I can give some more examples so that the concept gets more clear to you. Then I'll start with the exercise. Now, example number 1. I dash my friends daily. I के साथ बेटा कौन सा फॉर्म लगेगा? The root form of verb without adding s or es. So I meet my friends daily. I meet my friends daily. Now, the next one is the earth revolves round the sun. Now, children, if the word is revolve, now we are talking about the earth, one singular object, earth. So, we will be adding s. The earth revolves round the sun. Why we have added s to revolve? Because our subject is singular. तो बेटा जहाँ भी subject हमारा singular होगा, you need to keep in mind कि verb में हमें root form of verb में s/es add करना है. Fine. Then third, I never dash a lie. Tell it. बेटा generally negative sentences में which has got no, never, उसमें we only use the root form of the verb without adding s or es. Remember, we don't use s or es to the root form of the verb when we are writing any negative sentence. Negative sentence means sentences having no or never in them. So please keep this in mind. Then another example is too many cooks dash the broth. And if the word given is spoil, so here too many cooks, your subject is plural. So with plural, we will simply write the root form of the verb. I hope this is clear to you, children. Now, the paragraph which I had read in my last video, I would like to explain that paragraph. The first sentence of the paragraph is, penguins are the birds with black and white feathers. And a funny waddle. Now this is the first sentence of the paragraph, children, that penguins are. तो बेटा simple present tense में we use is, are and am. Remember that. So penguins is plural. Penguins आपका plural है. So we have used are. But if the subject would have been singular, हम क्या use करते? Is. And if I होता तो हम क्या use करते? Am. You need to keep in mind is, am, are. These are the be form of verbs. Sorry, is, am, are. These are the be form of verbs. Be form अगर आता है तो singular subject के लिए is, plural subjects के लिए are and I के साथ am. You need to keep this in mind, children, that ये use होता है. Now penguins के संग are क्यों? Because penguins is plural. Fine. Penguins are plural, तो इसलिए we have used are. So penguins are the birds with black and white feathers and a funny waddle. This is the first sentence of the paragraph given on page number 47. So we have used are with penguins. Why? Because penguins are plural. S लगा है, plural है तो are. But अगर penguin होता है यहाँ पे in place of penguins, तो what would which word we would have used? We would have used is in place of penguins. So keep this in mind that with plural subjects, we'll be using be form of verb. Is, are, am. बेटा ये be form of verbs है. So, are with plurals. Is with singular and am with are. Now the second sentence of the paragraph. And the second sentence is, they spend maximum time of their life under water. Now this is the second sentence of the paragraph and the verb underlined is spend. Now children, look at the sentence. They spend maximum time of their life underwater. Now here the subject is plural. They. They is there. So the root form of verb is there. Spend. But in place of they बेटा अगर सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट होता तो आप यहाँ पे स्पेंड की जगह क्या यूज करते स्पेंड्स. सो यू नीड टू कीप दिस इन माइंड दैट विथ प्लूरल सब्जेक्ट्स वी यूज द रूट फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ड, बट विथ सिंगुलर सब्जेक्ट्स आई एंड यू वी यूज द with plural subjects we use the verbs, root form of verb, and also with I and you. Whereas with singular subject children हम क्या use करते हैं? With singular subjects we use the root form of the verb plus s or es. Fine, with he, she, it इनके साथ. But आपके plural subjects and I and you के संग आप क्या use करते हो? The root form of the verb without adding s or es. Now, the third line of the paragraph, mother penguin lay one or two eggs in nest. Now, over here you have seen that this is the plural subject, the root form of the verb without s or es. They spend maximum time of their life under water. Now the second sentence, the subject is mother penguin lay. That is the subject, this is the subject. Fine, over here this is also the subject. Here the subject is plural, they. Whereas mother penguin, this subject is singular. This subject is singular. We are talking about mother penguin. So this is a singular subject. So mother penguin, this is lays. Fine. Mother penguin lays. This is lays. यहाँ पे ले नहीं, क्या आएगा बेटा? Lays. Why? Because the subject is singular. The subject is singular. So we have used the root form of the verb plus s. अगर यहाँ पे mother penguins होता तो आप क्या यूज करते? Lay. But since our subject is singular, so we have used lays. Got it? Now the fourth sentence of the paragraph. Mother and father both work as responsible parents and take turns warming the eggs. Now, mother and father. This is the subject. Which subject? Plural subject. We are talking about two, mother and father. So, plural subject. Both work. Now, with plural subjects, which form of verb will be using? The root form of the verb without adding s. Fine. So, mother and father both work as responsible parents and take turns warming the eggs. If the subject is plural, children keep in mind, we need not add any s or es to the root form of the verb. We simply use the root form of the verb. Now the fifth sentence of the paragraph. The eggs hatch in a few weeks. Penguins live only in the southern hemisphere. There are about 17 kinds of Okay, now look over here. The eggs. The subject is the egg. The eggs. Children, again, plural subject. So, we have used the verb hatch without adding s or es. Whereas, if the subject was singular, if in place of egg, the subject would have been the egg, so we would have written over here hatches. So, keep this in mind. The subject is plural. So, we have used the root form of the verb hatch. The eggs hatch in a few weeks. Fine. Why we have used the root form of the verb? Because the subject is plural. Now, penguins, second sentence. Penguins, again, this is the subject, live only in the southern hemisphere. Now, penguin. अगर penguin होता बेटा penguins की जगह पे singular होता तो हम यहाँ पे lives करते, but यहाँ पे penguins plural है, the subject is plural, so we have used the root form of the verb, that is live. So penguins live, whereas if over here it was penguin, then we would have used lives. So keep this in mind. With plural subjects, we use the root form of the verb. So penguins live only in the southern hemisphere. Then the next sentence. There dash about 17 kinds of penguins. So beta, there are, because 17 kinds hai, so we'll be using are. With plurals we use are, and with singular we use is. Fine. So there are about 17 kinds of penguin. So now I hope the paragraph given on page number 47 is clear to you. The information about penguins, that where you need to use the root form of the verb and where you need to use the root form of the verb plus s or es. Now students, let's look at the examples of page number 47. I'll explain those examples also, and then I'll begin with the exercise. Students, the first example is water boils at 100 degree centigrade. This is a scientific fact. ये बेटा एक scientific fact है, and we use simple past tense, we use simple present tense to narrate to tell about the scientific facts, that water boils at 100 degree centigrade. So simple present tense is used with all the scientific facts. Now water ऑलवेज वाटर इज एयर, वाटर, इन सबको हम सिंगुलर कंसिडर करते हैं. तो इफ द सब्जेक्ट इज सिंगुलर वी नीड टू add s to the verb. So instead of boy, what have we used? S. We have added s to the word boy and we have used the root form plus s. That is, water boils at 100 degree centigrade. So with scientific facts, children, we use the simple present tense. Then the next example is, my mom trims my nails every week. This is an action which is being repeated. So with things which are repeated often, we use simple present tense. Now here, my mom is a singular subject. So we have added s to the root form of the verb. Trims plus s is equal to trims. So my mom trims my nails every week. You need to keep in mind that with scientific facts, with permanent truths like the sun rises in the east, with proverbs like birds of the same feather flock together, then with habitual facts that I never tell a lie, and with actions done repeatedly, we always use the simple present tense. So I hope now the simple present tense is clear to you. Again, I am repeating, children. If the subject is singular, remember you need to add s or es to the root form of the verb. Whereas if the subject is plural, plus I and you, we only use the root form of the verb without adding s or es. Now students, in my next class, I will be starting with exercise 1 of simple present tense. Hope this is clear to you, children. That's all for today. Thank you. Have a good day.